actually going to cut through the stem and core it. Once I've cored it, what we're going to do is cut it into bite-sized florets like this, and they're actually going to shrink a little bit. So will you help me? Will you do? We're doing 50-50, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so split those up. Cauliflower, when it's raw, it really has no sweetness. It tastes like a vegetable, right? But there are natural sugars in it, and when the natural sugars are roasted at a really high temperature, they brown, which is the caramelization, and that's what's going to happen here. So I'm putting in a generous amount of olive oil. Will you put in a whole bunch of salt for me?
All of that?
No, not all of it, but a little bit like that, and just a little more. Give it a little pinch. Do what a chef does. Toss it in there. Excellent. Okay, now we're going to toss this around. So this is a sheet of parchment paper, and by putting the parchment paper right there on the pan, that means that the pan's not going to get so dirty. So when you do get old enough to have to do the dishes, it'll save you a lot of time. Okay, now I have my oven preheated. It's at 450 degrees, and that's a really high temperature, but that's what's going to help the cauliflower caramelize.
Okay. So how long are we going to wait for the cauliflower to be ready?
That is an excellent question. It's going to take about an hour to an hour and a half. And about every 15 minutes or so, we're going to take it out, and we're just going to turn it over a little bit so that it browns. Shall we move on to our next recipe?
Sure.
Okay, well, we're going to do a little arts and crafts project, and by the time we're finished, we're going to transform these not so exciting vegetables into a chicken salad.
But there's no chicken here. How do we transform them?
Well, you'll see, okay? Do you know how to use a vegetable peeler?
No, could you show me?
Okay. See? Okay, so just peel that whole cucumber for me, okay?
Okay.
And while you're peeling it, I'm going to start the magic here. So I'm starting with an avocado, half it, quarter it, and now we're going to peel it. Ah, that came out perfectly. I'm going to slice this, but I'm not going to slice it all the way to the end because I want the end to sort of hold it together. And I'm going to slice it thinly. Watch as I fan this out. Look at this, Irene, it's an avocado fan.
Wow.
Okay, next up, I'm going to turn this carrot into a beak.
But it's a long beak right now.
It is a very long beak. You're almost done that, aren't you?
Yeah.
You are a good peeler. Okay, now we're going to take about that much of the cucumber. Just going to make a little hole here for a nose. Nose. You ever seen a chicken salad with a nose?
No, never.
Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a little slicing. I'm going to cut it about 3/4 of the way through.
Okay.
Now I'm going to put a little dimple on the top, and I'll explain what that's for in a minute.
Okay.
There's my cucumber. Here's my carrot.
It's making a bird.
Let's cut a couple of eyes, okay? So I'm just using the cucumber skin. Right now, that's looking like a duck salad. You think so?
Yeah.
Like a quack quack?
Yeah.
Okay, but I have an idea that's going to make it look way more like a chicken salad.
Sure it has like those things on his head.
Yeah, what color are they?
Red.
So a piece of red bell pepper. And look, it already has a natural kind of chicken-like top, but we're going to add a few more dimensions to it.
There.
There we have a chicken salad. Well, if we have chicken salad, we're going to need some dressing for it, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've made a little maple syrup balsamic vinaigrette, and it's really simple. It's just a tiny bit of mustard, maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of maple syrup, some balsamic vinegar, and then if you do this in a food processor, drizzle in some olive oil, about 3 parts olive oil to 1 part balsamic vinegar, and it will emulsify and thicken, and it's great. Nice and sweet for the kids, but also good, wholesome ingredients in it. Okay, one last thing before we go. Should we check on the cauliflower popcorn?
Yeah.
Okay, will you pass me my little oven mitt here? Thank you very much. There we go. Now, it's starting to brown, but see there? That's the natural sugar in the cauliflower. When the whole piece of cauliflower is covered in that really yummy brown stuff, it's going to taste so good.
It smells very good as well.
It does already? All right, Chef. Well, that's it. Thanks very much for helping me out here in the kitchen.
It was very nice cooking with you.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy. When the moon hits your eye like a big spaghetti pie, that's amore.